Okay then, hello everybody, welcome back to Team Prawn Racing, part 2 of our flat floor and diffuser install. Right, we had a really good response, really good feedback to last week's video, part 1. I need a bit of an apology. Part 1 was rushed. I put so many hours, it's probably 50 plus hours over the last month gone into trying to do this floor, evenings, weekends, everything. There was a lot of time, and sometimes filming everything, even though Adam Ellis loves it. Adam seemed to enjoy getting a shout out last week. Even though people love seeing us physically doing the work, sometimes it takes 4 times as long to do, so we didn't film it. This week, the big reveal, the diffuser's going on the car along with the floor. It's going back down on the ground. We're going to see how it looks. I'm really excited. So I'm going to spin the camera, show you the floor as it is in the garden before it goes on. Then I think we're going to pop it on and I'm going to try and show you how it looks, give you a bit of an idea, a bit of an insight into why I've done what I've done, how I've done it, how you could do it differently and why you might not do that. So flip the camera, show you the floor, then we'll crack on. So here we go. This is the floor and diffuser in its entirety. Sorry for the paint looking awful. It is very sunny out here. Diffuser is obviously upside down here, but the basic idea, flat floor, comes in at the front of the car, comes down. This channel, what's this? A couple of people asked. The exhaust is never being covered over in my car. You've got a 900-degree piece of pipework. The fuel lines as it sit run somewhere here-ish. I am not exposing them to that radiant heat. It's just not going to happen. Exhaust tunnel is left open to let airflow kind of come over and cool the exhaust still. The floor sections, they fix through here vertically on the outside of the car and into the frame on the inside, but this still has a lip. This is to try and keep some airflow within the floor and try to not let it bleed into the exhaust tunnel where it's going to be more turbulent. From there, it comes down very smoothly here into the diffuser and out the back. So these two diffuser tunnels are 400mm wide and they end up about 200mm deep there. This for the centre was going to be open to let the exhaust run through the middle. When I actually put it on and set the angle to 10 degrees, this was below the exhaust, so I had more space here that could be doing some diffusing. Anyway, there's the floor. I'm going to get that on the car in there and then we'll talk some more. So at the front we've got our jacking points that you've seen, and in time I might add them to the rear, but the thing is with the back, we don't jack it up from either side at the back. We tend to go under the middle, straight up from a single point on the beam. With the diffuser in, that's going to be a little more tricky lining it up, so I'm going to go under and see if I can't figure out something to put a central jacking point on the beam that is easy to locate. So we're under the car. We have jacked off the beam off this point here for a couple of years now. It's miles from the fuel tank there. You slide the jack in, hit the jacking pad there, it just kind of works. But it's kind of tricky, kind of fiddly to see, and it's on a bit of an angle, so you've just got to pick up this. So it's got to be super accurate. If we had a bigger area to get the jack onto, we'd have a bit more freedom. So what I've got is this. This is structural grade extruded 6mm alley. This is unimaginably solid. And essentially I'm going to try and figure out some sort of plate that goes there to give us, what sort of angle is that, Nick? To give us a level jacking pad. And through the magic of editing, here we go. So I've cut this to an angle which matches the beam. This will sit quite nicely on here. So that sits flat on the beam. Now, I don't want to go drilling holes in the beam. I don't want to encourage any cracking. But look, we've got some existing holes already there. So they line up approximately with those. They do, trust me, I just can't do it for the edit right now. They line up with them. We're going to put some bolts through them, and that gives us a flat landing pad. But it's a bit rough, isn't it? Just random bit of alley. So I need to do something more with that. Little bit of further development on that. That is now shaped to go on the beam, drilled with some holes. We have another piece here. It's going to sit there, so when it's over, that will go on and clamp up to clamp it on the front edge of the beam. And then, ignore the slightly dodgy drilling here, these go in and go through those two existing holes, so it'll be clamped solid and can't move. Right, that's not yet fully fixed, but that's on there. When these bolts go up through here, that's going to be really solid. It's square, it's level. This extruded alley is so strong. So, final thing to make that more suitable for land a jacking pad on is a hockey puck. That's going to get bolted onto there like that. That is then a solid, stable landing point for a jack when we put it in from the back of the car, and it doesn't hang down lower than the floor. So it should work out quite well. That is bolted up. Kind of hard to show you, but there you go, I'll pop it on there. That is bolted up. That is already ridiculously solid. Bit of neoprene here, bit of neoprene under here on the beam. That is solid, as well as those two bolts going through. We've also got this little capture plate that's going to go on top and clamp it down to the beam for extra support. So I'm going to do that, bolt the hockey puck to it, and we're done. Finished. One very, very solid jacking point, replaceable rubber pad for about £5. Jack goes in, get that. I think that's going to work fairly well. Nice, easy point to pick up on the beam every time. Done. The last few holes are drilled, the last few riv nuts are set, and the floor is on for the final time. So I'm going to flip the camera, show you the floor, and then we're going to get on to the exciting bit, the diffuser. Well, here we go. One flat floor, and you know what? There's not actually tons to see because it's just completely flat. So as I said, we've got the exhaust fully exposed here in the middle. And yes, I have fully heat wrapped the whole exhaust as well. Big thanks to Jack for giving me some leftover heat wrap. But that is the whole floor flat. Either side on the exhaust tunnel, we have a little down stand here. Now the idea of this is to keep the air in this side of the floor in this side and not bleed into the exhaust tunnel. That's the same reason, if you look here, that the floor is not flush with the skirt. There's an ever so slight stand, basically to try and keep air within the tunnel and not just bleed out from under the skirts. And we have exactly the same on this side. Now I've gone with a silver fixing because I want a contrasting fixing so you can easily see if any come out. I'll go to the front and show you how it looks from there. Right, now I could really do with a bit of light in here because the wheel arch is just dark, but we've got our upstand there which kind of directs air into the skirt, and at some point I'll try and vent this area of the skirt, but it's just completely smooth. We've got our new jacking points here. These are also hockey puck sized like the rear one, so it just kind of locates onto our jack. We've got the Z profile onto the splitter, which keeps everything super, super flat in there. And as I said, we've got the little downstands on the exhaust tunnel to keep exhaust flow going down the middle. The exhaust is open so it can cool a bit, but the rest of that floor is super, super flat. What do you reckon, Oliver? Any good?
Yeah.
Whoop. Right, it's diffuser time. So the diffuser is behind me. First, I'm going to show you what I've done to mount it on the car, then I'll show you the end of the diffuser, then we'll try and get it into place, and then I've got the last couple of mounts to add. So we're going to come underneath, and this shows you how far back I've been planning this. When I took the boot floor out, I put in T-section steel cross members here and here. Now these were partly to take the centre exhaust, which was all part of this plan, and partly to take these, which are the hangers for our diffuser. So these are not just left too long by mistake. These come out because this is the point where the diffuser begins to transition up. I wanted to have this in as a solid reference so it comes out and then bends up from there. This takes us out to where we need to clear on the beam tie rods. So the diffuser laps on top of the floor there, so you have a butt joint rather than a lap, so there's no thickness of material as any step. It then hangs here on a cross member, and also at the back here, and there will be another rod coming in somewhere here. And we've got exactly the same on this side with a hanger there and a hanger there. Right, let's see how this goes. Right, first fit out of the diffuser in real time. I don't think that was too long. There's a floor section. Here's the joint to the diffuser. So super smooth. It's a butt joint, as I said. We've got another piece on the outside here, and at some point I will be closing in more of this, but that's for development. So butt joint to the diffuser. Same on the other side. There's our jacking point, nice and in the middle. It's not in the airflow, but it's there, nice and easy to reach as well. So that's the jacking point. And we've also got cutouts around our tie bars. Now, I spoke to Josh Lawton about this. He reckoned if you have a negative hole, the air will just flow in and be turbulent. If you put a tiny little gurney here, the air will go around that and actually stay attached further back. So really happy with how this is looking. And if you look from here, there is no sharp direction change by having this support in to keep it flat, but the diffuser ending there, this is one continuous piece of alley, and this is a really smooth transition. It's not a long up suddenly. Really smooth transition. Really happy with how that's all looking. Right, we're still in a mega mess here, but this looks absolutely ridiculous. That is now fully mounted. Tie rods, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's wide angle, so they look different angles, but when you're central, they are the same. And this is now so solid, it's ridiculous. It's actually way more solid than I expected. That's the whole car shaking. That looks nuts. And if you look in here, well, you can't see it, but, well, maybe you can. That's the jacking pad there. I've got a feeling you're going to be able to look in from behind and see whether you're getting the jacking point or not, which will be quite handy. Right, and there we go. That is the first time she's back down on the ground. And you know what? That looks absolutely ridiculous. In a good way, I think, but I need to get it out of the garage to really get the full effect. Look at it. Blooming ridiculous. It's exactly 100 mil that way. It's legal. That is the maximum legal limit of how big a diffuser can be. I'm pretty happy with it. It sits 130 off the ground at the back. It's not stupid low, but very smooth, good flow. You can still see into the jacking point to line the jack up, which is nice. Overall, I'm happy. So, diffuser, here it is. I was about to wrap this one up and I realised I haven't actually showed you the diffuser. Here it is. The car is out in the wild, looking wild. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I'm going to flip the camera, show you just how it looks and how ridiculously large it is. It's all legal. It is all legal. Flip the camera, show you what it looks like. And that's probably about the end of this. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. That is monstrous. So there we go. That is first iteration V1 diffuser. Very flat underneath. I might need to tweak the levels a bit. This was actually level with a straight edge across, but because of the angle of the tunnels, it looks like one's like that and one's like that. Might give that a little tweak. Just look at the side profile though. When you come round here, where the car's always been lacking before, look at it now. It's certainly got some presence. So the whole thing is lower and wider. As you can see, a load of people gave advice in the comments, and what I actually did, I've dropped the chassis 10mm at the front, but then I've dropped the splitter 10mm on the chassis as well. So the splitter has gone down 20mm. That now runs 60mm of ground clearance, whereas it used to be just a shade over 80. So that's gone down, which means everything is lower. The skirts are obviously 10mm lower at the front. We've stayed where they were at the back to give the car that rake we were discussing. 20mm of rake from there to there. Then that continues up, and the diffuser angle, it's not actually that steep. The diffuser angle that starts here and curves up, that's at 10 degrees. I'm really happy with how that looks though. That is looking wild. I was thinking of doing a little bit of B-roll, show you some B-roll. I'm not very good at editing it, so you know what? I'm just going to give you this exactly. Look how far it sticks out. Now I can tell you, if you put a straight edge on there, on that back edge, that is exactly 100 mil. Well, I say 100, it's like 98. From here to the wing, you put a straight edge on the end, you've got 98 mil into the bumper. MSUK regulations give 100 mil. We are just inside that. So you've got 100 mil out from the bumper. It's pretty big at the minute. It kind of potentially looks a bit too big, but we're going to see how this all works, see if it kind of does what I hope it does. It's looking cool though. Lower, wider, ready to go. That's probably enough for me for this one. The diffuser is on. I've actually been out for a little bit of a drive. I've done one kind of pull up to some speed. Doesn't rattle, hasn't fallen off, hasn't moved, hasn't bent. Didn't go around any corners. I just literally went out on the road, one blast, confirmed it worked. That's it. We're going to find out at Cadwell. Ooh, weight. I asked you about weight in the last video. A couple of people got extremely close. Now I can tell you, including the framework, the floor pan sections weigh 5.3 kilos each per side. So you've got 10.6 there, and the diffuser is exactly 8.5 kilos. So we've got a total of 19 kilos added to the car. Sounds like a lot, but when I spoke to Josh, his Diabond floor and carbon diffuser last year came in at about 18 kilos, so it's not massively dissimilar. Carbon fibre diffuser, for example, could well bring that down to 3, but you're only saving 5 in total. I know 5's a decent number, but it's not life-changing going from 8 kilos down to 3. Over winter though, if this works, remember this is just a V1, if this works I will try and remake all of this in carbon fibre. I just want to prove the concept first. I just want to know, does underfloor aero on an 8LA3 actually work? Anyway, that's enough from me for this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're watching this right now on the day it comes out, Friday, we're at Cadwell Park. We're racing tomorrow. If you're in Lincolnshire, if you're nearby, come and check it out. If not, no live stream this week, but you can see all the results on TSL. Josh is back with the Civic, turn the power up even more. Jimmy's back in Minty, new rocker in it, hopefully ready to rip. I think we're going to have a serious race on our hands. Have fun. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching along, guys. See you soon.